Welcome to class. My name is Bry'Anne, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the root of yoga. So where did it come from? How did it transpire the way it did? And how has it been translated and interpreted by cultures in which it did not originate from? Yoga, the word, comes from the root yuj, Y-U-J, which means to yoke. When we yoke something, we are bringing it together. So in the old days when we had oxen doing our work and we were reliant upon our large animal compadres to keep our farms going and to keep us fed and alive, we would use a yoke around their neck or in between them if we had a pair of them, and that's how we would harness the energy and get our goals completed. That's how we would get the work done. So in a yoga practice, we are looking to yoke or unite or bring together the body, the mind, and the soul, the thing that experiences both of those things, which means we have kind of this trinity effect. So we have multiple parts, and sometimes we forget that they are disconnected from one another. So the mind, the thoughts are not necessarily what is happening objectively. The body is experiential. It is influenced by things. It is also an influencer. It's how we move in the world. It's kind of like an avatar. Neither one of those things are the thing that experiences using the physical body and is able to observe the mind. However, it's virtually impossible to disconnect those things because they are so closely intertwined. So yoga originally was an aesthetic practice that people used to achieve enlightenment. It was much more than postures. In fact, a very small fraction of yoga was in reference to postures. There were only, I think, 9 original postures in the Pradipika, and they were mostly seated. So asana means to take one's seat. Every yoga posture, virtually everyone, I'm not aware of any that do not end in the word asana when we are talking about a physical practice. But it was much more than that. It was mindfulness techniques, it was cleanliness routines, it was more of a structured way of living and a variety of practices that would help somebody to remove themselves from the karmic wheel. So that's our cycle of rebirth and regeneration, which was the predominant belief system in the area at the time, which was, in India, more in the Indus Valley, which was a civilization of people that we don't have a tremendous amount of information about. We lack considerable textual evidence and remnants of that culture. So we can only infer from what remains in the area, and due to many years of colonization and appropriation and all of those things, a lot of that stuff has been worn down, repurposed, or used for other things as time went on. So many of the techniques and practices that you will see in a yoga class, a lot of the breathing exercises, the mindful movement, somatic movement, introspection, evaluation of thought processes, acknowledgement of internal monologues, as well as separation of those things from who we are as a person. Those are all things that do show up in other spheres, and these things were present and practiced thousands of years ago. So it's very interesting to me, at least, how things come full turn, how much of our modern knowledge isn't modern at all. We simply have more tools available to us to see what is going on in different language. We can scan the brain, we can measure things with a well-established scientific method, whereas back then it would have been kind of the woo, or we wouldn't have had scientific terms, but would rather be using something like our vayus or our chakras to describe the experiences of the body, whereas now we're talking about our amygdala and our hippocampus and our nervous system. So today's class is going to take us through a gentle, meditative, introspective sequence of movements. We're not working to get anywhere, rather we are practicing being here. giving ourselves what we need and exercising the patience and the acceptance that we need in order to do so. Join me on your mat. I'm going to begin kneeling towards the back. If you prefer Sukhasana, seated, cross-legged, feel free to start there. If you want to place a block underneath your hips, that is also an option. You can also come up high. We want to find a sense of ease. So while we are lifting through the spine, we would like to find the place where that does not feel effortful. Close your eyes or soften your gaze at the very least. And in your mind's eye, stack your ears above your shoulders. Allow those low ribs to hug towards midline. Shouldn't take any efforts. Shoulders and ribs are stacked above those hips. If you are kneeling, that stack continues down through those heels. If your toes are tucked, balls of the feet underneath the heels. If the tops of your feet are down, center of the top of your foot to the floor. Notice the crown of your head. Sometimes we jut our chin forward, and that takes us out of this alignment. Go ahead and pull your head slightly back, maintaining the length through the front side of your neck. It's as if you're pressing your head into a headrest in a car. So as we are making these adjustments, try not to become more tense. Invite a sense of relaxation through your shoulders, through the belly, through the shoulder blades, through your hips, through those toes. Beginning to notice the sensations that our body is picking up, the temperature of the room, the feeling of our clothing on our skin. Anything that we might be able to hear or smell. The sense of rooting down through the points of contact we have with the floor. Gentle extension upward towards the ceiling through the length of our spine. Noticing the flow of our breathing, not working to change it in any manner. Allowing our inhalations to take us through to our exhalations. Noticing the expansion and soft release as that oxygen exchange, our energy exchange occurs. If you were kneeling, bring your knees slightly wider than your hips. Extend your arms out in front of you. Melt your forehead, your chest towards your mat, finding a Balasana child's pose. Allow gravity to be your friend here, to assist you. Hips are sinking towards your heels. Releasing any tension through your fingers, through the sides of your face, through your neck. Walk your hands to the left side of your mat. Place the right hand atop of the left and drop your chest down towards your thigh.
Settling into our breathing, noticing the expansion on the right side, perhaps along the back of the rib cage, and allowing those exhales to take our torso closer to the floor. Come through center and bring it to the right. So your left hand can rest atop of the right and melt your chest down. Hips continue to sink towards your heel. We have a gentle rounding of the spine, along with a soft bend to the side. Breathing into the left side of our rib cage and out. Walk your hands through center. Child's pose. Lift your hips up, coming forward into this long tabletop position. You might like to keep your knees out in a V shape, or you can bring your shins parallel, walking your knees below your hips. Anahatanasana, puppy pose. Extend your arms forward. You can take a block and place it underneath your chest, your forehead, a bolster, a pillow if you have it. Allow your heart to melt down towards your mat. Opening through the side body, through the front side of the body, through the armpits. As you spend time here, you can continue to walk those hands forward. Releasing tension through the neck, through the face. Ensuring that we are continuing to breathe at all times. Releasing tension through the feet, through those hips, through the fingers. Bending through your elbows, glide yourself forward, allowing your hips to come down to the mat. Sphinx pose. Arms are in an 11 shape. Legs extended back behind you. Roll your shoulders down your back. Press your elbows down. Imagine them pulling towards your hips. Broadening through the front side of your body. Extending your gaze forward and slightly upward. Breathing deeply in, feeling that front body expansion, and releasing. Breathing in and out. Hand atop of hands, elbows come out to the side, bend your legs, send your heels over to one side and to the other. You can relax your head down. It's a little bit of a windshield wipe on our stomachs. Re-extend your legs back behind you. Send your left arm out to the side. I like mine in a Y shape. You can cactus your arm or bring it straight out like a T. Your right hand comes underneath your right shoulder. Bend your right leg. Kick it over to the left side of the mat. You might be able to roll onto your right side here. We're stretching through the front side of the chest. On the left, we're also getting a rotation through our spine. You might be getting a stretch through that right hip flexor as well. Try to relax your head. Stay within a range where you can continue that breathing. Steady, slow, and intentional. Keeping it easy and smooth. As you continue to spend time here, you may decide to change the orientation that you are in. Perhaps you take this deeper. Keeping that right leg bent, roll back onto your belly. Bring that knee out to the side for a half frog. You can keep your hands underneath your head, forehead to the back of the hands. If you want to stay passive here, if you don't get much of a stretch through your inner thigh, you can come up onto your forearms in a sphinx pose with the upper body. If you still need more sensation, pull that knee further forward. You can send your heel further away. Maybe you can even bring that leg straight out to the side in a T shape. Press your pubic bone down into the floor. Pull the chest forward if you are on those forearms. Feel that front body expansion. Try to elongate your neck and the back side of your body. Now, if in any of these shapes you feel called to move around a little bit, feel free to do that. We don't have to stay super static. I'd much rather you tune in and make micro adjustments as we go along than create more tension. Hand atop hands, right leg comes back behind you. Right arm extends on the diagonal, cactus, or like a T, left hand underneath. Left leg bends, kick that leg over to the right side of your mat. Allow that twist to happen through your spine, that stretch through the front side of your chest. Relaxing through your head, through your neck. Soften your shoulders away from the ears. Settling into our breath, resuming our cadence and our depth. We're in no rush. We have nowhere else to be except here. Lowering the belly down, maintaining the bend through the left leg, coming into a half frog, variation of your choice. You can stay with your forehead down. Perhaps you come up onto those forearms. You might move your knee up towards the top of your mat. You might extend your leg out to the side. Maybe you move your hips around. Maybe you drive your heel down. Perhaps you flex through that foot. Maybe you pull the chest forward, finding that extension through your spine. In either case, we are breathing. We are settling. We're noticing what is happening in this position, where our thoughts are going, the sensations that we have in our body, maybe even the thoughts that we have in reaction to those sensations or to the lack of sensations. Maybe we feel like we need to do more. Maybe we feel like we're wasting our time by taking it slow and not doing much. And these are just things to notice and to become aware of. Lower down, return that left leg back behind you, forehead to the backs of your hands. Bring your hands alongside your chest, hug your elbows back behind, pull your chest forward, coming through a baby cobra pose. Exhale, bend through your knees, send your hips toward your heels, child's pose. Come forward through a tabletop. Glide your right knee forward behind the wrist. Walk that shin towards the left wrist and then sit onto your right hip. We're in kind of an S seat, something like a 90-90. If you walk your heels further away from you to create those 90-degree angles, this is going to be more intense. Closer in, slightly less intense. Let's sit ourselves up tall. Try to get up onto that right hip. Breathe deeply in. And exhale, fold over that front shin. If you prefer to extend your left leg back behind you in a pigeon, that is an option. Extend your right arm out in front of you, tensing up on those fingertips. Take your left hand, thread it underneath, and lower your left ear towards the floor. Press that right shin down. You can relax your right elbow down. Maybe extend your right arm long overhead. Notice your toes. Allow them to release tension if any is present there. The same thing through your fingers, through your jaw, through your neck, through your shoulders. Simply breathing, letting gravity take over, and being here. Walk your right hand back in, press down, sit yourself up. Let's swivel to the opposite side. 90-90, or something more acute than that. Try to sit up tall for starters. Exhale, fold over your left shin. If you can, come down onto those forearms. Option to send your right leg back for a pigeon. Feel free to get any of those wiggles out that you need to get out. Little rock forward, back, side to side. Extend your left arm in front. Glide your right arm underneath and try to relax into that twist. Releasing through the head. Let go of the tension in the feet, in the fingers, through the shoulders, through the face. Allowing your left hip to sink heavily into the mat. Your low back to release. Unthread, walk your hands in, bringing them behind you. Knees come up and to the right. See if you can press your left knee down towards the floor. Bring them center and return them left, right knee down towards the floor. Again, to the right. And to the left. Both knees up, heel toe your feet together, soles of the feet meet, knees fall open, hips come back. If you would like to glide your heels forward for a different variation of your butterfly or bound angle, you're welcome to do that. Or you can pull your heels in very close, placing your elbows on your inner thighs. Hinging through your hips and applying gentle pressure to encourage your knees to open towards the floor. You might start out in an active stretch here before moving into a more passive version, which may be when you bring your heels forward, relaxing your torso over your lower body, letting gravity take over. Settling into your breath, sending the air towards the backside of your body, in between those shoulder blades as you breathe in. And softening, maybe moving closer to the ground as you breathe out. Using your hands, help yourself back upright. Bring your knees in. Walk your feet about as wide as your mat, at least hips width. If you are parallel to your mat, spin yourself so that you're facing the front. Allow both of your knees to drop to the left. We're going to spin towards the left side of our mat until we're facing the back. And from here, fold down towards the floor. This should feel easy rather than effortful. We're looking for passive relaxation here, allowing the body to open up. If that is not the case for you, grab a block, grab a bolster, grab a pillow. I'm going to grab a couch pillow right here. And arrange that underneath your body, your torso, to be specific, before snuggling in and getting cozy. Continuing to breathe, allowing your body to melt into your floor, releasing tension through the face, through the jaw, through those shoulders, along the length of your spine to the hips, sides of the legs, all the way out through those toes. Bring your hands underneath you, unwind, lifting your knees through center, bringing them to the right, arranging yourself in your twist. You can move the legs around, get yourself comfortable. Lowering down once you find that place for yourself. Letting go of the tension, allowing gravity to take over as you settle into the shape. Noticing what you notice. Any sensations, sounds, thoughts. Acknowledging them before allowing them to pass through. Let's rise up through center. Finishing off in some semblance of a shavasana. You can take a reclined position, especially if you were doing this practice before bed. Getting onto our backs can be nice. If you're going to continue through your day, I'm going to encourage you to sit up tall. So call upon those extensors
to lift you up, to drive the crown of the head upward towards the ceiling. In any case, we are going to close our eyes or return to a soft gaze. And take a few moments to absorb everything we just did, to be in this experience that we've created for ourselves today, in these past 30 minutes or so. Without judgment, without expectation. Simply taking up this space. Noticing the flow of anything that comes into your awareness. And as you notice those things, do so without grasping, just letting them come and go in their own time. Sometimes when we experience something, and it could be something pleasant or something less so, we'll find ourselves holding on to it far longer than serves us, or than it is in service of us. And again, that holding is not all bad. There are many things that are worth keeping for ourselves and pulling out and taking a look at. We need to remind ourselves of various things. And we need to pull ourselves more in balance one way or the other. However, the key word here is in service of us, of our goals, of our trajectory. And practicing releasing everything is an essential part of that. Exercising autonomy over that which we do hold is predicated upon our ability to let things go. If you'd like to remain where you are, feel free to do so. This is where we are going to conclude our practice today. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this class, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed this slow, restorative, introspective, more yin-like style of yoga, be sure to leave me some feedback in the comments and let me know that as well. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you here again next time.